So today I teach you how to properly grade in Premiere Pro. So first we're gonna launch Premiere Pro here. It's gonna take a while. Okay, so we are gonna make this footage look more like this. First of all, we're gonna go to the color module. There's a bit of a misconception in Premiere Pro because it's very different than, for example, DaVinci Resolve, where you can clearly see that grades are displayed in a node kind of a style. So whatever you do in the first node happens to the second node. So they're all linked in chain. There's a bit of a misconception within Premiere Pro and how to properly apply LUTs and grade. Premiere Pro is a bit different than DaVinci Resolve. In DaVinci Resolve you can clearly see that your grades happen in chain, but the main thing to understand is the nodes are like layers in Photoshop, say. Whatever you do to the base layer will be seen in the top layer, and that's the way we have to kind of try to see how color grade works. It's not different in Premiere Pro. The thing is, it's not clearly labeled. So I've seen a lot of editors apply LUTs to the import LUT tab, which is just here, over here. And that's not the correct way to do it, because you're getting log footage, say, and applying a LUT that matches or maps all the color to this particular LUT before you even had corrected the images. Some LUTs are very, very aggressive and can crush your highlights or your shadows, and they limit how far or how accurate your final product will be. So I'm just going to show you today how do I work when I'm grading images. So I'm going to actually do this backwards. So I'm going to show you what some people I've seen doing and why they don't get the results that I get when I'm doing color grades. So some people go and apply a LUT to the import LUT, and it's a LUT that is not meant to be applied before the first correction, because they tend to be very aggressive towards your footage. So this LUT is Osiris, and you can find it in Color Grading Central, an amazing LUT, and it's used in films and TV shows and whatever. But then this LUT, it's meant to be used in log footage, and then this version of that LUT is meant to be used in Rec 709, so DSLR footage, or if by any chance you happen to get footage which is not shot in log mode. So this first LUT that we see here is to be used for log footage, and it's a bit more aggressive. And this LUT is meant to be used in Rec 709. That's very self-explanatory there. So we open that LUT in the import LUT base, and as we can see immediately, the LUT wants to bring our colors very, very contrasty and dark. So I'm going to try to fix this. We're playing around with the exposure. I'm going to expose a little bit higher to I think my skin tones are where they should be, and bring my blacks again. As you can see here, my blacks are hitting 0, which is detail lost. So I am gonna get them close to 0, but not too much. I don't mind losing a bit of the detail, probably around this corner. That's that corner here. So I think that looks okay there. And I'm gonna play around with my shadows. I think our skin is a bit too dark. That looks better. And then my highlights, I might actually want to push my highlights a bit higher. And my whites. Okay, so that's, for me, that works. But there's a few issues here. Although it looks okay, someone might like this particular look. This is not the way that image should look, because I'm applying my LUT first and then my corrections. This is the way it works. Gets the footage, applies the LUT, and then the corrections. So there's detail in the shadows and in the midtones that is just gone and then the color rendition is not accurate. So although someone might like this particular look, this is not the way it should look, or it's not the way that the LUT is designed to be used. And I'll explain you why in a second. So I'll just leave that image as it is, say that we're happy with that. So this is the one we just worked in, and we're gonna go back to this one, in and out. Okay, so we're gonna go back. The correct way of working in this image, I would say, is to go and make this log footage into, I'll show you now, into a Rec 709. So we're gonna basically be correcting with a LUT that is designed for the Blackmagic Ursa, and it's an input LUT. This is designed for you to see your image not in log but in correct 709 mode. So I have one here for Blackmagic film. I put a link in the description where I got this LUT. Now this image is in Rec 709 color space. This LUT, because it's meant to be applied as an input LUT, it's not as aggressive, and detail in the shadows and the highlights is not lost. I can go and change and make corrections to my image. I'm gonna put my blacks again where they should be. That's too much. I'm gonna keep them there. I might want to give her a little bit more of a contrast look. My highlights are, you can see in the corner here, my highlights are clipping. That's that light there in the top, but I'm fine with that. And I'm gonna bump a bit the shadows just to get more color in her skin. Her skin is around this area. That's a very simple correction there. So now that I have the image with the colors corrected to my opinion, the skin tones are where I want them to be, the blacks are where I want them to be, we can now apply in the creative tab a stylistic LUT, which is the correct way of using these LUTs that are a bit harsh. So this LUT is designed to work after your color correction. Okay, where LUT is here, and I'm gonna apply it to Rec 709. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna go back to our image, and we're gonna go back and work on our correction. I'm going to show you now the difference between having the LUT applied, or the stylistic LUT applied after your color correction and before your color correction. This is how it looks when you apply it to before the color correction. There's a lot of things that are hidden within your grade, and the LUT is so hard that it doesn't allow you to bring them back. So in this instance of the color grade, when I applied an input LUT and then the stylistic LUT, I think, in my opinion, the colors are represented way better. Okay, so once I'm happy with that grade and not with this one, I'm just gonna go and take this. I can take this a bit, even a bit further, to make the viewer, to make the viewer's eye line be drawn to, in this case, the person doing the exercise. I am going to create an extra layer here, or duplicate. I'm going to select Alt and drag up, and that's how you duplicate layers. Alt, click, drag. In this case, I am going to go and do something that is a bit of a cool little trick. So I'm going to create an opacity mask, and I'm going to select around her head. So once I have that selected, I'm going to turn off this. So this is what you're going to see. So obviously we don't want those harsh harsh corners around. So we can play around with the mask feather and create a seamless transition. I'm going to expand that mask a little bit, and this should be fine. I'm gonna go now to my secondary color correction. First, I'm gonna go and select her skin and drag, and then I'm gonna mark this color gray overlay. What this allows me to see is the selection. So I'm gonna go and get my eyedropper again, and I'm gonna select more of her skin so I can work on it. In my secondary color correction, the way it works is with a hue, saturation, and luma. So hue is the color you're actually selecting. You can play around with this, and if you move it around, you'll find the best way to select the color you want to select. Saturation is the intensity of that color. So you can move it around until you get kind of the best bits. These two triangle bits that have make the fall off of that selection softer, so you can play around. Sometimes it gives you an even better edge or more refined. I'm gonna try to put this a bit bigger so you can see, because I'm watching the second monitor, which is very big. Anyways, then luma is the amount of light in that color. So you move it around. I think this is where it should be, and I'm gonna play with my triangles. I don't want to select too much of her hair, but if I have to, I'll leave it there and I'll play with this. So the fall off is a bit more gentle, but I still see that we have harsh edges in the color. And if we were to be a bit aggressive, then that might be noticeable in their final product when we're grading. So now we're going to go to the refine tool here. We're going to denoise. This works by decontaminating the color. So it tries to find what's the most prevalent color, and it cleans colors that are not that color in your selection. And then the blur, which is very important, it makes that mask very soft in the edges, so it's less probable that the viewer will see the change within the color correction. Now we're gonna get our color corrector, and we're gonna go and push a bit towards the reds. I want her skin to have a little bit more of a red color, just a tiny bit. You don't want to be too aggressive with this. And we're gonna turn back our and turn off our gray mask, and that is it. So now I can, if I turn it on and off, you can see it's a small gentle red coloration in her skin. Maybe YouTube compression will take a bit of it away, but in the screen it looks very good. Her skin looks vivid, and it has a little bit more life to it. So that's pretty much it, and that's where I'm going to leave this particular image. So I just wanted to show you guys how working the correct way in your color correction can generate such a different result in your color correction. By understanding how your color correction tool works, you'll get better results. And I'm just going to play them both now so you can see the difference in the correction. These colors look more natural. This looks a little bit more different. I'm not saying that someone might not like this. Someone probably will be looking to do something like this. But if you want to use your teal and orange colors and still be able to get a natural look, I would say you should work the correct way. Make your log footage into something that the program understands. Do a basic color correction, highlights, shadows, everything, skin tones, and then apply your stylistic LUT. So it's correction and grade. That's the way it should be. You can't grade before making corrections to your image. So that's it. I just wanted to show you guys how I work within Premiere Pro's color correction tool. I think it's a very powerful tool. It's not as advanced as a DaVinci Resolve tool, but it is definitely a good tool once you understand how the layering and the input and all those tiny details work, because it can generate amazing color and it's very fast to work. So for most of the jobs I'm doing, I have a fast turnaround, so I have to be able to put my image into a decent style that my client will be happy with, and do it within time and budget. I can't most of the time I can't afford to spend 2 days color grading a product. So by working within Premiere Pro and After Effects and all that, I can make decisions based on color or my edit very fast, and I can turn around any project very fast, and if that's efficiency. So I'm gonna finish off there. If you like what I did, leave a comment down below. If you have any questions, let me know. And if you enjoy the content I'm creating, subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna be trying to update content every week, and quick tips and things that I hear on set or when I'm working with clients, and things that I can try to answer to you guys viewing the tutorials. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.